There's also this. Attorneys for accused Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson are urging the judge to block the death penalty over the prosecutor's past comments to the media. Here's the defense in court yesterday.
This motion asks the court, how can we further transparency by relying exclusively, or almost exclusively in this case, on hearsay evidence that implicates Mr. Robinson in a death penalty case. The court should determine that it's simply unfair to proceed on the basis of hearsay in a case where Mr. Robinson's life is at stake.
Criminal defense attorney Josh Ritter has been following this case very closely and joins us now. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Great to see you. So if you could explain what the defense is trying to do here and if you agree with this.
This was a really revealing moment, and finally I think the defense is showing their hand here. So the arguments were centered around, one, they were asking for sanctions against the prosecution for what they are alleging is a violation of the gag order, where the prosecution spoke to the media correcting false reports about an ATF ballistics report. Also, they're arguing that hearsay should not be allowed at the prelim that's coming up in early July. Hearsay is routinely allowed at prelims, but they're saying this, an exception should be made here. And if the judge doesn't allow for those things, if the judge doesn't allow for that hearsay, or if the judge does sanction the prosecution, then the remedy should be the removal of the death penalty. And this is the first time we've really heard them make those arguments. And I think that's really what this has all been about. All of these requests for cameras to be removed, all of the requests for sanctions, it really has to do with their continued fight to try to get the death penalty off of the table here. And there's no real connection between the arguments, but that is essentially what they're trying to do.
Okay, so what do you think about it? Do you think that the judge could ultimately rule to take the death penalty off the table?
No, because there really isn't a connection between whether or not the judge finds that the prosecution should be reprimanded or sanctioned for an alleged violation of the gag order. Has nothing to do with whether or not they should be able to pursue the death penalty. I think the death penalty is going to stay on the table because it has to do with the facts and merits of the case itself. You're talking about an assassination that was likely politically motivated. The judge is not going to intervene at this point and have that removed. So, again, delay tactics, a little bit of gamesmanship, but all of it, I think, comes back to that idea of the death penalty.
Okay, understood. There's also another case that we want to ask you about. We all know who Austin Metcalf is by now, a Texas teenager who was stabbed to death at a track meet, and another teenager named Karmelo Anthony was found guilty of murdering him this week. And now we're learning that Austin Metcalf's family is actually receiving death threats from Karmelo Anthony supporters. Here's Austin's dad talking about this very thing.
I get text messages and voicemails that are just vile, disgusting things. I woke up this morning, there's 3 of them already. I got a death threat yesterday. All the race baiting and all these people are all, they're monetizing it. They're making it's for clicks.
You know, I'm sure that this family is exhausted right now, but can and should they seek legal action here?
Where they can find it, I think absolutely. I mean, this is an unimaginable nightmare that they've been through, the loss of a child in this type of way, and then to further add to that, like he said, the vile response from those who are in support of Karmelo Anthony and what he did that day. It really is disgusting to think about what this family has to continue to endure, and I appreciate their resolve and their bravery as they continue to do it. But I think you really have to place the blame at the feet of irresponsible reports on this, irresponsible media coverage, and politicians who've involved themselves and other provocateurs who have no understanding of the facts surrounding this case. This case had nothing to do with race. The case was very clear-cut, in my view, and yet they're using it as some sort of tool to further divide us and cause people to respond in a way that is, like I said, incredibly vile.
It is vile, and the victim's family is being victimized once again. You absolutely hate to see that and hear about it. Josh, thank you so much for joining us. And you can watch Josh on the Weekly Wrap Sheet over on Fox Nation.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.